to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Habakak, Wadash. I would also like to give a double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone that do rule well, that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom unto the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the brothers that are out there prophesying, laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you I say shalom. No one's job is safe, okay? And as we come into these last days, all right, Esau is rolling out this AI, this whole technocracy. They're part of their new world order, and you're going to see a very high increase of layoffs, job cuts. Okay, where whatever your job is, okay, you're not safe. Okay, even if you got a job that still requires some type of manual labor, it's still not safe. Okay, because when they start cutting the jobs, if you're at the bottom of the seniority list, you're gonna get cut. Okay, and even if you're at the top, you may be forced into retirement or to take some type of package that your company gives you, where they can hire someone to do the same job you can do but pay them cheaper. All right, so and your job is your livelihood. Okay, the ability for you to provide for yourself, for your family, to provide shelter, provide food. Okay, but Esau's is this devil is cornering everything. All right, and I got like maybe 4 articles, a few tweets, to give examples of what the hell is going on. All right, how America, Babylon is crumbling. All right, the morale of the people is at the lowest it's ever been. You got a lot of people who are going to begin to not begin, but you already have people that's bugging out. All right, that's just spazzing out. That's you got murder suicides, and you got people just you got a lot of road rage, murders and things going on. So people are just losing it out here because a lot of people are losing their lives, losing their livelihood. All right, they might have been at a job 20, 30 years, and they get the notice that, hey, come Monday, this may be your last week. Okay, and a lot of these people, the majority of these people have mortgages, have kids, they got it in college, or they got to pay for school. They have certain responsibilities that they have to take care of, and Esau don't care, okay, because they're rolling out AI, incorporating AI into a lot of these jobs to eventually take those specific jobs over. Okay, so let me see. This first one is from it says NYC nurses claim hospitals quietly rolled out AI tech. Damn ads. Shit. Where's it at, man? Where's the X at? Get out of this shit. Um, Rolled out AI techs threatening jobs and patient safety. So New York nurse leaders are blasting the city's hospital system for quietly rolling out artificial intelligence tools that they claim are threatening their jobs and patient safety. Hospital administrations in healthcare have already shelled out hundreds of millions of dollars to launch language models with little input from those on the frontlines. Nurses said at a recent meeting at the State of Nursing Committee on Hospitals. All right, let me see. And they can protest, they can talk all that shit they want. At the end of the day, this devil's going to do what they're going to do. It says a lot of times the hospitals want to come out with everything with those AI, but we're not part of the decision making. Added Higgins, you don't have no say so. Okay, you're going to have AI doctors pretty soon. All right, you're going to have it where you don't even have to go to a doctor. You can do the shit from you could FaceTime the doctor or FaceTime the robot and tell them your symptoms, and they'll write you a prescription right online. Okay, have the prescription sent to the pharmacy. And then the pharmacy you don't even got to go pick it up. They deliver the shit to you. All right, everything is going to be made at a convenience, but at a cost. All right, eventually that cost is going to cost a lot of people their lives, because that token you're going to need to participate in society is that mark of the beast. That's what Esau's moving towards. Okay, it says, and we need to be part of the decision making it affect, because it's affecting how we care for our patients, and we are the ones on the bedsides delivering care at all times. And a lot of times they don't care about their patients because people die in hospitals all day. All right, all these nurses really care about. Some of them, care, but the majority of them, all they give a shit about is that money, that overtime. Okay, longtime nurses recounted a recently terrifying incident at Maid Mondes when a nurse, I'm pronouncing that right, when staff arrived to find devices hooked up to patient's skull in the ICU by a pharmaceutical company without warning or training or protocol. They got certain incidents, but you see where this is moving. You see that, and they're going to give you the explanation that, hey, you're not going to you don't have to deal with human error, in these hospitals. All right, human error is always going to be a reason, one of the many reasons that they're going to use to push forward this AI. It says blue collar jobs are collapsing under Trump. Why is that? Because a lot of blue collar jobs consist of a lot of factories, all right, warehouses, and those jobs are being taken over by AI. All right, construction jobs. You have robots that can perform construction jobs now, where you may say you have 200 people, 200 guys on a construction site building something, where that may reduce the workers to less than half of that, maybe 75 workers or so. All right, so and what do those other 125 workers do? Workers do for work? They're out of work. Okay, and the union can't help them. Okay, it says let me see. Coverage of the labor market in 2025 has taken on a decidedly white-collar tone, the artificial intelligence being cast as the principal long-term threat to American workforce. With the ability to rewrite billions of lines of code daily and conduct other repetitive, cognitive tasks at scales and speeds humans can never challenge, such fears are not unfounded. And AI has already been cited in many of the mass reduction announced by Amazon and other corporations in recent weeks. But for all the hand wringing over the potentially ill-fated employee at Silicon Valley and Wall Street, a quieter crisis appears to be unfolding for U.S. blue-collar employees, despite the pledges and efforts of the current administration to foster a renaissance in marquee industries such as construction and manufacturing. Reviving the blue-collar boom in America's experience during the first Trump term has been has been a day one priority for the administration. The White House told Newsweek while citing improvements in real wages and manufacturing output in 2025, and that was one of the staples that people, that America had American-made items where they were made in factories, the cars, all these things that are made abroad now. All right, America doesn't really export anything. Okay, everything is imported into this country, and what they're going to do is they're going to cut the jobs, because if you cut the jobs, that's going to boost their profit. All right, and Esau, that's all they care about is the profit. All they care about is the money. Okay, these different CEOs, and they don't care about the workers. Okay, they don't care about that they got families. They have the families to take care of. They don't care about none of that. Okay, but eventually Esau is going to come with the solution, which is going to come in the form of that UBI, the Universal Basic Income. All right, where it's going to give you a monthly stipend to help help everyone that's not working, that hasn't been working, that has a mortgage, that has rent, but it's going to come with a catch. Okay, it may come with the mark of the beast right away, the chip, or it may give you the money first, and it be tied to a card, tied to your digital ID, tied to your credit score, or whatever system Esau decides to roll out with it, and eventually it's going to be tied to that chip. Okay, so the blue collar jobs are being attacked, or along with of course the tech jobs. All right, those are just obsolete now. It says map shows states where jobs are most at risk being replaced. Let me see if it shows me the map. Why it matters. Researchers note that over 100,000 jobs Job losses have been linked to AI restructuring already in 2025, and projection regarding technology's long-term impact suggests the figures could surpass the nine-digit mark over the next decade. That means over a was that 100 million jobs, a billion jobs? No, was it? Yeah, excuse me, over 100 million jobs are going to be replaced. Let me see if it shows the map. It says, let me see. Researcher at MIT assess each state based on the current level of automation exposure. So these are the maps. Let me see. California automation exposure, medium, high. New York, high. And these are a lot. Let me see. Florida, medium. I'm just going to the states where you have the highest population, medium. Chicago, Illinois, medium. Eventually, these states like California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, they're going to be high like New York. You got a lot of people wanting to leave New York because eventually there ain't going to be no jobs. All right, and the cost of living also. You have to put that into account. All right. This approach reveals clear regional patterns. The study reads, states in the northeastern corridor tend to show tightly clustered exposure, often concentrated in finance and technology. That's all in this tri-state area. Okay, and Pennsylvania going to be right behind it. Okay, because they used to have a lot of factories in industry there, but that shit they didn't close up shop, and they getting all their steel from China. In contrast, states manufacturing belt exhibit more distributive profiles, which risk spread across production, logistics, administration, and related services. Let me see. Washington and Virginia are among the highest ranked due to dominance of exposed sectors like finance and technology. While California's strong tech sector increases its vulnerabilities, it is brought at the same level as Utah and a tier below Delaware. So this is just going into the certain states that where obviously is dominated by tech and finance jobs, which are mainly being replaced right now. But going back to the previous article, it shows that blue collar jobs are being at risk also. This is a tweet. It says college graduates have historically found jobs more quickly than people with only high school degrees, but the advantage is becoming a thing of the past per Fed. Recently, the job finding rate for young college educated workers has declined to roughly in line with the rate of young high school educated workers, indicating that a long period of relatively easier job finding prospects for college grads has ended. All right, back in the day when you had a college um, a degree, you damn near you got a job. It was nothing for you to get some type of entry level job. Now it doesn't really matter. All right, because the jobs don't require much training. All right, not necessarily much training, but the jobs don't require much education. All right, because all these jobs are entry level jobs. That's when everyone's going to get the same training. Okay, so your degree, your college degree, it don't matter. So a lot of these kids coming out of high school, they better just look for jobs or try to find a trade. Okay, where that may be the last thing that you have to hold on to. Possessing some type of skill. All right, because all these jobs, automation and AI are taking all these jobs. Okay. Let me see. The last one says, it's just real quick. U.S. layoffs are on track to exceed great financial crisis levels. So it's more layoffs. Okay, and these layoffs and AI taking these jobs is going to result in the uproars of the people. It's going to result in calamities within this society. The second Ezra's 9, and I'm gonna start at the top. He answered me then. He answered me then and said, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, and those signs are the prophecies." Okay, when you see uprisings of the people, it's going to say in the next verse. When you see uprisings, when you see division amongst governments, when you see potential civil war, all right, these are some of the signs. Okay, when you see the mark of the beast, when you see nation rising against nation, all right, that's going into a global war, world war. All right, these are some of the signs, the major signs to look for the Lord to make His return unto earth. You know, by the Lord sending His Son Yahawashi. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right? And it's always some earthquakes. There was a big-ass earthquake over in Japan today. It was another earthquake up on the border of Canada and Alaska, okay? But uproars of the people. What makes the people in an uproar? All right, mainly the living conditions. Mainly some type of injustice. Maybe some type of, like I said, living conditions, okay? Mainly the lack of food, the lack of bread, okay? The lack of resources, all right? The lack of money, all right? It's not going to be any jobs out here. How do you think these people are going to react? All right, people are going to lash out. People are going to bug out and you know, steal from their neighbor, rob their neighbor. They're going to try to get it from whoever they can, okay? Which is going to lead to sedition, okay? Which is going to lead to fighting amongst these fellow Babylonians. All right, they go into that in what is it, Isaiah 19 and the top. Actually, I want to get it. I'll get it in the I'll get it in the GNT. This is Isaiah 19 and 2. Yeah, I started to. The Lord said, I will stir up civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. Rival cities will fight each other and rival kings will struggle for power. All right. So with all the living conditions, all right, you know, people not working, all right, people are going to lose it. All right, people are going to you know, and the people are going to lose it because they got nothing to lose. They done lost everything. Okay, this is the future of America. All right, this is what the people in America have to look forward to. Okay, I'm going to the KJV. Actually, I'm gonna read it in both. This is Isaiah 19. I'm gonna jump down to verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rust may do. It's not going to be any work for those that got these high positions or the lower positions. Okay, it's going to be minimal work. All right, for you know, everybody. It's going to be some people that have jobs still, but the majority of the people are going to be out of work. AI, robots, all right, artificial intelligence is going to take over all of this shit. All right, you're going to have the police going to be out of jobs eventually because they got the robot dogs. You got surveillance cameras. All right, where yeah, you may have a police employee, but all his job is to do is watch cameras, and he don't. At the end of the day, they're going to be out of jobs because they got the Chat GPT and the AI shit to do that. Where they're going to alert alert certain authorities, okay? Alert the robot dogs, or they could just deduct the money from your social credit score, or you know, deduct points from your social credit score. Okay, this China is the pilot program for the New World Order. If you know anything what's going on in China, everything is tracked. Okay, and they got over, you know, shit, somewhere like fucking billion people. I think over a billion people. All right, they have a large population, and if they can control the majority of their population through AI, well, it's nothing to control 340 or million people, however many people here in America. Okay, let me get this, see what this verse says in the GNT. Get these stupid ads out the way. Verse 15. No one in Egypt, rich or poor, important or unknown, can offer help. Was that the one? Did I read it? Yeah, and any work for Egypt. Is that, yeah, that's 15. Yeah, it reads different. Let me see. I read 14. I read 14 and 15. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and he hath caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, and as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And we know Egypt is synonymous with America, Babylon. Okay, but the Lord is going to make Egypt fail in every work. All right, where Esau is going to come with solutions on how to, support your family and programs. None of that shit's going to work. All right, they're going to come with their UBI. All right, and that may work for a little bit until you got to get that chip. Till you got to get that mark of the beast to continue to get it. And some people may not be down for it. Okay, we know the elect isn't, but it's still jakes out there that may not be with it. Okay, but eventually they may come around to it. But it's it's going to be Edomites that's not going to be with it. All right, they could deny it all they want, but they're not going to receive salvation if they take it or if they don't take it. But just know that the Lord is going to, Esau is going to put forth these fake solutions, these fake options, which are not going to make shit even better. It's not going to make things better. All right, they're not going to be able to escape the inevitable, and the inevitable is that America, Babylon is going to be destroyed, and the labor woes of people losing their job and people not having, and that's just a part of it. That's just a part of one of the plagues. Okay, let me go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. All right, it said the keepers of the house, meaning the economists, they shall tremble. All right, because and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. All right, and the grinders represent the workers. Okay, and the economists, there's no future. They're going to see there's no future in America. There's no future in investing this, that, or whatever, because hell, ain't nobody got no money to invest. Okay, eventually the stock market's going to crash. All right, and it's just we're moving towards a technocracy. All right, and this is a part of it. All right, and Esau, this is also a part of their what is it called, population control. All right, where they want to reduce the population to 500 million. Okay, so eventually something's going to happen. All right, like a war, civil war. All right, where Esau's going to begin to taking people out. Okay, because then if you're not contributing, if Esau deems you not a contributor, you can't contribute to society, they just going to take you out. Okay, but and before we get to that point, a lot of people are going to suffer. Okay, and having this truth and being in this truth, that prepares us to suffer. All right, we know brothers are going to lose their jobs. It's going to come a point where we're going to have to draw the line because your job is going to want you to get the chip. Okay, or it's and you got to have the spirit on you to draw the line. Like, yo, I'm not with it. Okay, it's going to be my last day. Okay, it's and you have to be real. You have to be willing to deal with that. All right, a lot of people not willing to let go of their life. All right, it says what is that? I said safe. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Here it is. Here it is. Matthew 16 and 25. For whomsoever will save his life shall lose it, and whomsoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. All right. And those jakes out there, they're going to be trying to save their life. Okay. They didn't went to school and got all these degrees and doctrines or masters and shit. They're going to do whatever they can to try to preserve their life and preserve their lifestyle and whatever they have in this world. All right. While the elect, all right, are willing to lose their life. All right. That's willing to lose, worldly possessions, homes or whatever. All right. Because the Lord said they would receive it, 100-fold in the kingdom. Okay. And, you're going to lose, family members and, you're going to lose on this side. And you got to be prepared to lose. this world, these people in this world, they're not prepared to lose. Okay, they still, Jake still that they're gonna think they're gonna Yaquab the MOTB. All right, it ain't no way around it. All right, either you take it or you don't. All right, and the prophets are here to warn you that we're living in the times where Esau is prepared to make you people, mainly you Israelites, but everyone suffer. You Israelites are going to catch the worst of it because we're at the bottom. Okay, but everyone's going to begin to suffer until Esau comes with that alternative, that solution, which is going to come in the form of that MOTB. Okay, because that's Esau's end game. Esau's doing all of this control and pushing forth this whole technocracy system with the AI and the Chat GPT and the robots for one main reason is to get you to take that chip. Okay, I had second. Damn, I closed that. I had second Ezra 15. And I wanted to get I want to go into basically the tribulation. All right, the reaction to people's the people's reaction to losing everything through going through these different hardships. Okay, this is Second Ezra chapter 15. And I'll start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, it's going to be, like I read in Isaiah the 19th chapter in the second verse, is going to be a civil war. All right, where people, they're going to fight for food, they're going to fight for resources, they're going to fight for whatever they believe in. All right, and they're going to fight those who oppose it. All right, they're going to fight those that got food and they don't have food. Okay, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're meaning they're not going to regard their government. All right, this U.S. government, they're not going to regard curfews. All right, they're not going to regard the law. All right, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It's going to be martial law where cities are going to be cut off eventually. Okay, because of their pride, cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, lack of bread, lack of food. Okay, and we work to obviously to provide for our families, provide a roof, provide shelter, and food. The basic necessities. Okay, but in these times, people are going to not those necessities are going to be scarce. Okay, a lot of people are going to be put out of their homes. A lot of people are going to be possibly probably living in their car if they have one. Okay, a lot of people are not going to have food because not necessarily it's going to be a scarcity of food, but there's a food that's available. It may be high. All right, and you just can't. It's going to get to a point where you can't just run into a store and steal some shit because you're going to have troops, all right, guarding those stores, armed troops guarding those stores. Okay, so this is just one plague, and this one plague is going to have drastic effects on Babylon, America. All right, this is just a part of the downfall of this place. Okay, and it's going to touch and hit everybody. All right, everyone think that their job is safe, and their job is unique, and they could they got all these different titles. That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit to Esau, because Esau will get rid of you like that. However much Esau is paying you, is going to be cheaper to replace you. Okay, because say Esau's paying you $150,000 a year, they could buy a robot for less than that. All right, and do the job, do the job consistently. Never call in. Do the job 7 days a week. Never call in. Never sick. They ain't got to worry about the robot slipping and falling at work and paying what is that shit workers comp and none of that. Okay, so this devil got it all mapped out. Okay, and it's the prophets that have the foresight to see what this devil is doing to warn our people, to give our people the warning. All right, and hey, not to quit your job or not to do nothing drastic like that, but when the time comes, you have the spirit and you have the faith to lean and depend on the Lord, that the Lord is going to take care of you. because the other majority of these people in this world, they don't got faith like that. All right, their faith is not. They don't got faith. Okay, because their faith is based on what they can see, what they can you know what's available to them, what's tangible. Okay, this is Isaiah. Let me see. I think it's 31. Y'all read 30. Yeah. Excuse me. 30 goes. I'm going to jump down. Isaiah 30:1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And we know Egypt is synonymous with Babylon, America, and our people, they're gonna, all this shit that Jacob's gonna go through, losing their job, losing their house, or losing whatever. They're still gonna put trust in Esau. They're still gonna in the back of their mind, they're thinking, man, it's just, if we could just do this. Niggas are still thinking we could just get reparations. And Esau is gonna bring a form of not reparations, but a form of uh relief in that UBI, the universal basic income. Okay, but and that's gonna give Jake some hope. All right, put Jake to trust more, in this devil. But like I said, that UBI comes with a catch. All right, and that catch is, we already know that mark of the beast. All right, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. I'm gonna jump down to verse 12. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, that's Yahawashi, the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, you despise the reproof, you despise the warning, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. This is the oppressive system that our people are going to continue to trust in and believe in. Yes, we have to work here, we have to live here. Okay, we have to abide by these devil's rules and their wicked rules that we have to live by. But eventually, it's going to come to a point where you got to let the shit go. All right, we're not at that point yet, but hey, when it comes, you got to be willing to let it go. You got to be willing to let everything go, lose everything. Okay. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Okay, that's going to be your Jake's downfall, Jake's destruction. Okay, because they trusted in this place, and a lot of Jakes is going to go down with this place. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the hopeful elect, and I would like to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakwadash. Shalom.